So here we have our two Mazdas. We have mine over here, the gray Grand Touring 2015i. And then right next to it, we have my girlfriend's blue. So for things I like, here we're going to show you the backup cam. Simply push down, put it in reverse, and it immediately pops over to the backup camera. And now you see everything that's going on behind me. And you hear that? That's because a car actually just drove by on the street behind me. So that's really nice, you know, because this is kind of a narrow vision, and in case if you weren't looking one way or another, it would help you avoid an accident. Sometimes it gets a little annoying when you're backing into a spot that has, you know, like a barrier behind it and there's still an ongoing street behind you, but I'd rather have it beep when I don't need to than not beep when I need to. Now obviously backup cameras are mildly standard anymore. A lot of cars have them, a lot of cars have them as an option. You know, it's nothing unfathomable to have yourself a backup camera, but this one works rather well. The only thing is it's a little bit low quality at nighttime, and I think that has a lot to do with the positioning of the camera compared to the reverse lights. Now obviously the reverse lights make it so that you can see, but there is a little bit of glaring, so keep that in mind, but it does a good job at what it does. The system, the infotainment system that it's all hooked up to here, now you can see I've got a nav screen going, and it does a real good job of migrating between the backup camera and whatever you're doing. Even as far as when you start the car up, it takes 10-15 or so seconds for everything to get completely up and running, to be able to go in and select a listening device, whether you want to change the Bluetooth or you want to select a USB device. But as soon as the car is on, you can throw it in reverse and the screen will show you what you're doing, which is good because you wouldn't want to sit around and wait for your reverse camera to work when you need to get out of somewhere in a hustle. So another thing that I quite like about this car, or at least this one in particular, is the Bose 9-speaker system. Now this is obviously an optional thing. If you get any of the cars that come with the technology package, which includes the sunroof, the backup camera, and the 9-speaker Bose system, as well as the dual climate control, then you'll get all the speakers. And it is a very nice system. Now, it does not have a subwoofer. It has 2 tweeters and 2 mid basses in the front, center speaker, and then 2 tweeters and 2 mid basses in the back. It does a very good job, however, of making the audio without you needing a subwoofer. Now, I came from a car that had 2 12-inch dual voice coil subwoofers in it before this, and it is definitely pretty good considering being used to, you know, 1,000 watts in the trunk. So down here we have our little volume knob and the control system knob. So I have it muted right now, but I'm just going to push to unmute. And obviously this is coming across the camera, but let's turn it up to 35. Now that was just a random Foo Fighters song that happened to be on the radio, and I went up to 50 out of, I don't even know where it tops out at. I've never really gone above like 52 or 53, because I think it probably stops at 65, maybe 70, but very, very comparable stereo. And whenever you get the Grand Touring package, it's included with the car as is. So I definitely recommend the $1,500 or so extra for the tech package to get yourself that stereo and the backup camera if you are thinking about purchasing the standard touring model. So another nice thing about this car is the hill stop assist. Here I am, I'm sitting at the hill. I'm going to be turning left here. I've got it in first gear, foot on the brake, holding the clutch down. A lot of manual cars, you'd have to kind of let go real quick, get on the gas, maybe give it a little more gas than you need to, clutch out in order to stop yourself from rolling backwards. But in this car, it will actually hold onto the brake for you for 2 seconds, allowing you to patiently get yourself back up to speed, driving away. It's also very helpful when you're parked on an aggressive hill down to someone's driveway or something like that, when you're reversing. So you pull into someone's driveway, you need to back out and up onto a street. It's very, very useful. Put it in reverse, let go of the brake, rev yourself up, let go of the clutch, and just patiently pull away without having to worry about maybe rolling forward into a garage door or someone else's vehicle. Another thing that's great about this car is the clutch as far as the manual is concerned. It has a very light hydraulic clutch, and honestly, even switching from a fairly new car, a 2008 Lancer that has a hydraulic clutch already, it is like stupidly light. Now some people say that, oh, blah blah, I like a heavy clutch or whatever. You know, I'm not trying to pull 10 seconds down a quarter mile here. I want to be able to drive this car every day. So when I'm on the highway and I'm stuck in traffic, I don't want to, you know, cut my left leg off and replace it with a 2x4. It's completely okay to be able to stop and go and, you know, not have sore legs. That being said, it's also very good for first-time manual transmission drivers. Whether you're sort of new to it and this is the first car you're going to be purchasing, or if you own this car and you're trying to show somebody how to drive stick, because like your significant other, it would be a good idea for them to know how to drive stick, because, you know, if something went wrong and you're in your vehicle and they don't know how to drive stick, you know, you might as well not have a vehicle. So teaching them is always an important idea. In the middle of the tachometer, it actually tells you what gear you're in. So here we're in third, and then if I rev up in third, it'll advise me to shift into fourth gear. Now that's, you know, I don't ever really look at it, but for somebody that's new, they never, you know, are really 100% aware of when they want to shift. And that's not just determined by your RPM, like, oh, you're at 2700, you should go into second. Oh, you're at 2700, you should go into third. Here's that hill stop happening again. It is dependent on what your RPM is, the incline, otherwise, you know, the load of the motor, and the throttle position. So if you're gently in second gear, it's going to advise you to shift into third pretty soon. But if you're in it, it knows that you're probably trying to accelerate, and it's not going to tell you to shift into third until you're up above 5,000 RPM. So after stopping at McDonald's here, another thing that I like about this car is the steering wheel. Now, the overall shape of it is nice. Right here at your kind of 10 and 2 positions, there's two little bumps that you can get your hands on real easy that just feel nice and, you know, easy to find when grabbing for the steering wheel. But the layout of it is nice, the way that this is, the way that the hole in the center is, so you can kind of get like a hook when you're turning sharply. But I also like the positioning of all of the buttons. They're exactly where they need to be. You never find yourself reaching, trying to get to you know, a control that you may need. Now, for somebody with smaller hands, it's possible that the skip button on the left side here might be hard to reach, because that's basically the furthest one away. But all of the volume and info controls are on the left side here. And if you have the cruise control option, which I'm pretty sure basically every car would come with this, over here on the right side, you have your cancel, resume, on, off. And if you have the S model, the controls for the active cruise control would be over here, which judges the distance of the vehicle in front of you, as well as the speech button being here on the left, so you could hit it.
Say a command.
We're just going to go ahead and deny that. And then the call and hang up button are right there, right below it, kind of just hanging off of the left side of the steering wheel. Nicely placed, easy to use, you know, never any complications. There's a volume knob, or volume switch rather, over here, which I almost never use, honestly, because I tend to use the one on the center console right down here by the control knob, primarily because my hand's already there, and I like it because you can dump or gain a lot of volume very easily, as opposed to going like push, 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 or push, hold. So lastly, as far as things that I like about the vehicle, I would have to use the fuel economy to finish out this list. I know a lot of vehicles say that they're 40 miles per gallon, 45 miles per gallon, but generally it doesn't really come out to that much, and those numbers are based off of doing 60 miles per hour constantly on like a very level ground or something of that effect, where I've done 75 miles per hour on the highway, changing lanes, slowing down and speeding up with traffic, and I've still managed to get 37 miles per gallon on a long highway run in this vehicle. And I do mostly city driving, a lot of start-stop and red lights and stop signs, and I'm not exactly sure where the city estimation comes from. It's probably so many stops over so long, but I do a lot of pretty aggressive city driving because I work in Northeast Philadelphia. So my average fuel economy is 28.7 miles per gallon, which for somebody who doesn't exactly drive with a tenderfoot, who does a lot of stopping and starting all the time, I think that's really respectable. And it's almost 10 miles per gallon better than the averages I was getting in the car that I owned before this one. And especially with that 37 miles per gallon that I would get on long highway runs, very good fuel economy. Definitely give it my stamp of approval.